Well, good afternoon everybody, Jackie here with JR World Travel. Happy Monday, what a beautiful day it has been out there. I've been out and about all morning, so now I'm home. So again, as I said, you know, we're going to do this every day and we're having fun doing it. So let's get right to it. There's a couple of things I want to go over today. One is the special. Okay, we've got a group on board the Oasis of the Seas, that's Royal Caribbean, on the 20th of May of next year, 2018, okay? Which means you've got plenty of time. Pay your deposit and you can make payments on this. Down to the Bahamas and what have you and back again. And you can get a 2-seat balcony on the Oasis. That's an ocean view balcony. And I've got pricing here at around about, $2,776 for the cabin. And with that is also $175 onboard credit for the cabin. So that's a great one to have today with Royal Caribbean. And it's far enough out that you've got time to make some payments and have it all paid before you even go. You know, Royal Caribbean has become a large cruise line, beautiful ships in the water. I know when we're in Tampa here, there's the Brilliance of the Seas, and that's the one we'll use for the seminar, because Tampa's a smaller port and the bridge won't allow people to get under the bridge. So if they're watching, build a port please on the other side of the bridge, especially for us, that'll be real good. I want to also talk a little bit, thought about doing a little bit of a story every day as well. Ross and I are well travelled, as you know, and we've been to different places and everything else. We decided that we were going to go back down to the South Pacific and our points wouldn't take us there. So we ended up by going to Spain. That was a great experience. You're in a country, no English. We don't have any Spanish either for that matter, so that was interesting. But we had a great time and we drove. You know, we landed in Madrid and we got a rental car and off we went. We went all the way down to Malaga and down to Alhambra. That was it. That's all day to spend down in Alhambra. It was and still is a spectacular place to go and see. It was an old, huge fortress town and everything else for the Muslim population. Full of history. Absolutely great place to go. So we did that, and then we drove back up the coast and went to Alicante. And we have I did at that stage, a very old family friend from England. And he owned and operated a small British pub in Benidorm. So I went for a swim in the Mediterranean and everything else. But, you know, just the trip itself was just enlightening. And being in a different country again, I always say do something different food, different culture. The only thing is, Ross will not be allowed to drive again in a country that doesn't speak English. Neither will I, for that matter. You can't find signs. They're all in Spanish. So, confusion reigned supreme. We couldn't find the hotel. And then you couldn't do a U-turn. But again, that's all part of the experience. And that's what traveling is about. It's not about everything being perfect and everything else. It's about the experience you have. So think about that. I've just come back from a networking meeting. We were talking about the experience of travel, good or bad, and you need to do that. We talk about things about Australia and New Zealand because that's where we're from and we send a lot of people down there and everything else. But if you want a little bit of a taste of Australia, especially without leaving your lounge chair and just watching the television, we've watched a couple of very, very good series at the moment. And one is called The Outback Truckers. You think you have long-haul trucks here and everything else, you've got to watch it. It's a magnificent series. And then the other one is Keeping Up with the Joneses. That's right up northwest of Australia on a huge cattle station, 1.3 million acres. And it's helicopter and everything else, and that's how they do all their roundup. So with that, let's now get on, though, because I want to mention the seminar again later. But I want to get on with the important information when it comes to your passports. We spoke briefly about this last week. When I ask for information and I want your passport, I much prefer you to scan it to me because everything has to be exact. Your names have to be as it is in the passport, spelling, everything else. The date of issue and the date of expiry has to be as it is in the passport. I'm used to doing like the 6th of June, 19, whatever date it is, not June 6. And even though I ask people to read it out as it is in the passport, they'll still turn it around, all right? So remember that, because if you get to where you're supposed to be you're going to find that they don't let you on. And if it's an airline, you're definitely not going anywhere. All right. So it's imperative that every single thing is as it should be. So passports, when you're traveling, especially if you're flying, you have to have a passport. If you don't, you can't leave the country. Your passport also has to be valid for 6 months after you return. People say, God, Jackie, why? Well, the thing is, if you get sick and you're out of the country and your passport expires, you can't fly home. You would have to apply for your passport out of the country and things, and that becomes more costly. You have to expedite things and everything else, and where's all your documentation? Your documentation is usually back at your house, so you have to get people to get it for you and all these sorts of things. So the passport situation is and has been extremely real for a long time, and it's becoming even more like that. So it's sort of like, you know, just have the passport. Just give me a second, please. I know Ross is trying to say something to me and I can't hear him. Ross, what are you trying to say? Just say it.
Birth certificates and driver's license.
Well, that's not with your passports, but anyway. So if with the cruising, as I said before, they allow you to leave and come back to the same port in the United States without a passport. So then you need your birth certificate and you need a driver's license. And remember, they both have to match. So your birth certificate name is Smith, you've got married, divorced, married, and you've got your driver's license or photo ID, and that says Brown. You have to show how it got from Smith to Brown, and you must travel with original documents. All right? So remember the importance of the passports, because, as I said, if you're sick and you're out of the country and your passport has expired, you're not getting back in again. So they've made it a law, if you like, now within the travel industry that your passports have to be valid for 6 months after you return. So please remember that. If you have any questions at all, please call me. I will try and help you. Even if you're not a client of mine, I don't care. Just call me. All right. So now we're going to go on for the next small section. I said every day I'm going to be advertising the seminar at sea with the great Steve Hopper, set down for the 22nd of March next year. You know, I was just out today and we were talking about this and everything else, and I don't think people realise how imperative it is for you to be educated, no matter how old you are, how young you are. Education is the most important part of your life. The more educated you become, the more knowledgeable you become, and the better person you become. You're more worldly, you know more things, you travel, you gain other knowledge. When it comes to business, as Ross has been very successful in his personal and his professional career, the rules of business don't change, as he will tell you. Doesn't matter what business you have, the rules of business do not change. So being educated on how to do your business better, how to be better in your personal life, how to maybe do things that you wanted to do and haven't quite found out how to do it. You know, the old adage is correct though. You know, you can take a horse to water, you cannot make it drink. So it's imperative that you get on board with the seminar with Steve Hopper. Remember I said to you it's only 4 nights. It's out of Tampa on Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas, 22nd of March next year. And for much less than the price that Steve Hopper would charge for a day's seminar, by hundreds of dollars, you've got 4 nights at sea, all your food is included, your port taxes, your charges, your prepaid gratuities are included, the seminars included, a cocktail at parties included, and plus we have our international dance event night with our DJs. So again, that is all included for Ocean View cabins, not inside cabins, Ocean View cabins for about $732. You can't go any better than that. So if you're not on board, as I said, you will miss out, and that will be the biggest, mistake I guess that you guys could make right now. As I said, everybody can have better education, more education. That's how you do your business. So with that, I think our little bit of time is up, and tomorrow's another day. I'm at another networking meeting in the morning, and then I'll be home to do something else tomorrow. But listen, I want to ask you a question. Please text me. If you want me to answer any questions, do that, and we might put that as part of our little show. I'll choose a couple of questions and we'll answer them on a daily basis. How's that? And once a month we're going to be doing a much longer show where we're going to have people that we've sent away or have travelled with us, and you'll hear about their experiences and how they've experienced travelling with JR World Travel. All right? So until tomorrow, this is Jackie and Ross signing off. Thanks again. See you tomorrow. Bye.